Hi guys, and welcome. So today I'm going to be sharing with you how I put together my October daily, and also this is the same way I created the junk journal that I made for my friend Sam. Hi Sam, if you are watching. So I've mentioned this before. I was so inspired by Shara's Traveler's Notebooks. I absolutely love the way she puts them together. And so when I came into this junk journal swap that was hosted by Eileen and Luisa, I decided to go the Traveler's Notebook style junk journal, and it was just so much fun, you guys. So I wanted to show you how I put it together. I know a lot of you have been reaching out and asking me, and so I thought I'd share with you how I put it together. I'm not sure that this is the correct way. There might be another way to put it together, but yeah, I just wanted to share with you how I did it. It's so easy, and so let's get right to it. So this measures 8.5 by 4. And so I knew that, you know, that was the size I wanted for my October daily, and I added a lot of pages in there. But for what I am going to be making today, this is going to be a junk journal that we are going to be taking with us to Disney. We're going to Disney in November, and so it's going to be for 3 days only, so I didn't want it to be too big, but I knew I wanted to create one for us to take and document. So what determined the size of this one is the paper I will be using for the base. I love to create the base with a solid color cardstock. For one, it makes it easy to put it all together because it's all very flat, so it's easy to stitch and put all the pages together and then just build upon it. But also it is just easy. So when you use your pattern paper, you can make mistakes, and it can be very difficult, or at least for me it was. So I found that using a solid color cardstock made it very easy for me. And so this is the black cardstock that I will be using. It's just a regular letter size, which is what, 8.5 by 11. And so what I do is I literally just eyeballed it and was like, okay, I want it to be about this wide, and so I just went with that. And what I determined was that it was going to be 9 inches in width, so I'm going to cut that down to 9, and then just fold this in half, which gives you a 4.5 inch cover and back cover. So this is going to be the size or the measurements for this particular traveler's notebook that I'm making. I wanted it to be a little wide because we're going to be using a Polaroid Instax, I think is what it's called, and I want to be able to like stagger the little photos, and so I thought this would be a good size to do that on. So basically it's going to be 4.5 by 8.5 inches. So I didn't cut off anything from the bottom. It was you know, just the side. And then make sure to keep these scraps because you can use these for die cutting, for punches. You can use it to create little tuck spots in on your pages. You know, you can just tuck something in, so make sure to keep those. All right, so now that I've showed you how I create the pages, I have my pages here, and I've decided on 4 pages. And so I just folded them, stacked them together. Let me get all my little supplies that we're going to be using. So I'm going to make sure that they are as straight as can be, as lined up as can be, and then I will just start putting my little clips on here so that I can start measuring. So this is how I measure where I'm going to do my stitches. So as you can see, it's 8.5 inches long. And so what I do is I start, this is going to be the top. So I start at the 1/2 inch mark and I make my little mark right there. And then I go 1.5 inches. So to 2, 1.5 inches, 3.5. This is going to be 5. This is going to be 6.5. And then this is going to be 8. And what that does is it's going to give you a little bit of space right here for support so that your pages don't start to tear when you start to sew them, right? You don't want it, you know, too close to the edge to where it's going to tear. So then I use this pokey tool from Dollar Tree. And now that I make these and that I see how fun they are to make, I really should invest on an owl, I believe is what it's called, or awl. And then you just start poking your holes, guys. And so this is gonna prep your pages for the stitching. You want to do it right on that crease. And it's super easy to poke these holes through. Do it right on the crease, just like that. And there's the last one. So now we have our holes prepped and ready to go. And I have my embroidery floss on my needle here. This is a pretty big needle. I picked this up at Michael's and they are next to the embroidery floss. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on the inside. I can't remember what kind of, if it's a saddle stitch or a cross stitch. I can't remember what this is called. I'm not too familiar with it yet, but let me know in the comments below if you know what this stitch is called. Okay, so I've pulled it through. I'm going to leave a little bit here because in the end, I'm going to tie it and create a knot to hold my thread together. So now I'm going to go up the next one and through, making sure that this does not come out. You can use some washi to hold that in place, and then put through this one, up the next one, kind of pull on that a little bit. You don't want it too tight, but you do want it to where it's not loose. You know, you want your pages to be nice and sturdy in place, but you also don't want to tear anything. Pull it through. Okay, so I've gone once through every single hole, and now I'm going to go back. So I'm going to go through here, and see that's going to close up that hoop right here. And then over here, I'm going to close this one up, going through there, making sure not to get my thread caught in anything. Again, still keeping that tight, not too tight, but tight or taut. Pulled that through, closing this one up. It's kind of hard for me to see with my phone in the center, but I have become so accustomed to having this phone right in front of my face that when I try to record any other way, I just cannot do it. So I'm going to bring this through. Actually, right here, you can just tie this up right here. So in the end, this loop that we're going to close up, see how all of these are closed up? All of the ones in the back are also. So right here, you can just tie this in a knot. Again, making sure it's tight, or as tight as can be. I'm always so nervous about this part because I want it tight and I also don't want it to tear. You know, you come all this way and then to have it, see, like I just let it go right there. no worries, just untie it and try it again. Okay, here we go. So I want to keep it tight, pull it through here. Still kind of too loose, but that's okay. Okay, and then you would just snip this off, and there are your pages. Let me get some scissors so I can cut that. Okay, so I have snipped that. This is what it looks like. It's kind of hard to see the black thread on the black cardstock, but you get the idea. It is really super simple, you guys, and look how beautiful this looks already. And it's not even embellished. So those 4 pages are going to give you a front page, these 2 inside. So that's 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then your back cover. So keep that in mind, you know, when you are putting these together, keep in mind how many pages that is going to give you. And look how nice and flat that is. And so now you can start, you know, embellishing and creating your pages. So you would get your paper, whatever paper you're going to be using. I'm going to be using this Simple Stories Say Cheese. I actually picked it up last year, and I just never used it. So I'm happy that I have it to put it to good use this year. Oh, look how cute that little pennant is. This is a sticker page that comes with it. This is adorable. What a cute lanyard. So, so cute. And it has little tabs down here. I really want to put these to use. And then sentiments. It's so, so cute. So this is where I am going to have the most difficult time, because I hate using double-sided paper when I'm making like a mini album. Because I feel like I'm wasting paper. I hate to cover up this pretty paper, but this makes it less painful. The fact that I have my base, because now I only need a piece of paper to cover the front, you know, like one little piece. So I'm just going to cut one, as opposed to using the whole paper to create a base page. So let me figure out which ones I'm going to use and cut those down to size, and then just show you how I come back and put that together. Okay, so I have decided on the pages I am going to use. For this page, this is going to be cut up into pockets, so you're not really going to be able to see this page right here. So I decided to go ahead and use the same paper on this side. I don't really like to do that in these junk journals, but I like the look of this, you know, like 2 separate pages, or 2 different pattern papers. So, but I think it's going to work well for that. So this is what I have so far. I have not adhered these pages because I still want to do some stitching and some other things. So this is where our thread is, our binding. So I've decided I'm going to make this a pocket. I don't know if I had already mentioned that, and so I went ahead and put this paper clip here just as a marker for me to know that that's going to be a pocket. And I really like how this is looking. Look at how cute this is. And this paper right here is my favorite. It has inspired me to make so many things. So I want to make these little sunglasses. I'm definitely going to give that a go. I have an SVG file for that. I want to make some of these little banners. I definitely want to make some of these balloons. I love this lanyard. I don't know how I'm going to make that, but I'd love to make something like that. And these little popsicles are super cute. So I think it's just so fun to look at some of this, some of the drawings or illustrations on the paper and actually make ephemera pieces that, you know, look like this. So you can get a lot of ideas just from your paper. And then this is the final page. So after cutting these pieces down, okay, so the measurement of these pieces of paper. So my pages measure 4.5 by 8.5. So just to leave that little edge all the way around, I went down 1/8 of an inch on each side. So this measures 4 3/8 by 8 3/8. That's what all of these measure. And again, that's for the matting, and that's just so that you have 1/8 of an inch around, you know, your border pieces. So it gives you a nice fit on your pages. And you know, see that little black that kind of pops on around the edge? That's what does that for you. So like I said, just go down 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so I cut these papers down, and then what I think is a good thing to use for the cover are the scraps, right? So you can, you know, grab these scrap pieces, and I really enjoy this one so much. And then you can do some paper tearing like Shara does. I love the way she does her paper ripping or tearing, or I don't even know what it's called. But yeah, you know, you could use these pieces right here to create the cover. And so you're not wasting any paper, you're actually using it all. So make sure to keep those pieces. And then I had these little squares left over. You can make a whole another mini album with these little square pieces. You can use them for die cutting, or you can simply use them to mat a photo, you know. So don't throw those away either. And then, oh my gosh, these branding strips are just so adorable, you guys. I love, 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 you know, using branding strips to create little banners on pages. And you can use this as a tuck spot. So, you know, you can have it go all the way down the page just like so, and then, you know, use these as little tuck spots. So just depending on how you adhere it, it can, you know, hold pages like that. You can do individual tuck spots. Just, you know, be creative and use all of those scraps. In my case, I only have this little kit. Like, I am not a big Disney fan. Really, I'm only making this because we're actually going to Disney, so I don't tend to craft with Disney products or paper. But so I want to use every last bit that I have, you know, to embellish this book. Another tip that I want to give you, so I've mentioned the sizes, the measurements before you commit. So this is just a little dress rehearsal, right? I'm putting these pages in and just seeing how they look, and I'm really liking the way they're looking. But before I adhere them, I'm going to do my stitching. I like to stitch all the way around the border. And then also, if you want to do something like let's say like on this page right here, I thought of, see these little balloons with these sequins? I thought it would be so cute to stitch some, to hand stitch some sequin in there, or maybe do like little French knots in different colors, or little French knots on these buttons right here. I think that would be cute. You could do some star sequin on here and, you know, stitch that on there. Or if you want to do some hand stitching, kind of like Paige Evans does, how she stitches around the illustrations on her paper. I think that is so cute. She does like a, what is it called? A lock stitch or a hoop stitch. Oh my gosh, I can't even remember. But yeah, I love the way she does her stitching. Or like the little French knots would look so cute in these flowers. So you could go through and do French knots on all of it before adhering it, and then just tack it down, you know. So yeah, make sure that you plan I think that's like the best way to get through these. Make sure you plan exactly what you want to do. Let's say I want to add a doily here. So I would fold my doily, and then I could stick it, before adhering this page, I'd stick it in between here, sandwich it in between. I have the double-sided tape on here, but you get the idea. And then, you know, that creates a fun little element of surprise, an interactive element, and you know, it's not visible. It's the other side is tucked in under here. So that's a little tip for you as well. So yeah, just really be creative, plan out, you know, what you want to do. Like I said, this pocket right here, I'm going to use to tuck in some, you know, maybe a park map, or a ticket that I pick up to a show, or you know, I don't know what Disney is like right now. It's been two years, I think, since we've been, so I don't know what it's like during the pandemic. But you know, you can do some little autograph pages and just some plain paper for autographs and tuck it in that pocket. So I will do a separate video to show you how I put everything together. I hope this helps. Let me know if you have any questions so that I can try to include the answers to that in my second video. So let me know in the comment section down below. And thank you so much for watching. I will talk to you soon. Bye.